Project Zomboid ruined survival games for me. I used to love survival games. I still do, don't get me wrong. The thrill of starting with nothing, finding supplies, and slowly building a base to survive. It was addicting. I played a lot of them, from all kinds of genres, even games like Factorio or Escape from Tarkov, which have a very different survival elements. I just like games that challenge me. Each one had its own spin, but they all follow the same basic rules. Then I played Project Zomboid, and everything changed. At first, I thought I knew what to expect. An isometric zombie survival game with the retro graphics? Sure. I die a few times, learn the ropes, and soon I will be running around like an unstoppable zombie slaying machine. Just like in every other survival game. But Project Zomboid isn't like other survival games. It doesn't hold your hand. It doesn't care if you're new. It doesn't even care if you survive. Before every run, the game reminds you, this is how you died. And I did. A lot. The first time, I shrugged it off. The second time, I laughed. By the 10th, I realized Zomboid wasn't about survival. It was about how long before I die. Other games teach you to win. Zomboid teaches you to fear. All survival games take time to learn, but Zomboid doesn't just have a learning curve. It's a sheer drop-off. It took me hours just to get the basics. How to fight without getting swarmed, how to deal with large groups, when it's safe to loot, how to plan for a long run. And then, when I thought I was doing well, Zomboid taught me its cruelest lesson. The feeling of safety is a lie. Other survival games give you a moment where you feel like you've made it. You get a food, a strong base, and you start thinking ahead. In Zomboid, that's when you die. That nice cozy house? It's a trap. You think you're safe until zombies break through the windows, or until you open that one door with a horde waiting behind it. That stockpile of supplies won't help if you make one wrong move. You might have food, weapons, and even working generator, but all it takes is one small mistake, a single scratch. And zombies aren't the only thing that can kill you. There's food poisoning, falling from roof, getting sick, car accident, burns, starvation, dehydration, freezing to death. The world doesn't need zombies to kill you. When I finally felt like I had some control, Build 42 arrived with even more new things. The crafting and building system got a huge update, combat change, lighting change, they even added animals, a sign that NPCs are coming in the future. The game isn't finished yet, there is still more to come, but even after hundreds of hours, I still want to play more, even though I know every run ends the same way. A world that tells its own story. Project Zomboid doesn't have a traditional story, but the world itself is full of little details that tell one. It's all about environmental storytelling. The abandoned houses, bloodstains on the floor, barricaded windows, a car crashes or roadblocks. Every place you visit feels like it had a history, like people were really living there before the outbreak. And then there are the hidden stories, the cult farm with its dark secret, the newspaper that documented the apocalypse as it happened, the TV and radio broadcasts that start out normal, slowly shift into panic and then go silent. The emergency broadcast is the only thing left like a ghost from the past. But the most important story? It's yours. Project Zomboid doesn't force a narrative on you. There's no main quest, no objective marker telling you what to do. You decide where to go, what kind of person you are, and how long you last. Maybe you're a lone survival, hiding in the woods. Maybe you're trying to rebuild society with friends in multiplayer. Maybe you roleplay as a co-op, a firefighter, or custom character with your own twist. That freedom is what makes the game special. It's not just about surviving, it's about the story you create along the way. And with NPCs coming in the future, who knows how deep those stories will go. Death feels real. Most games make death just an inconvenience. Take Dark Souls for example. You lose your souls, but you can get them back. It's a hard game, but it doesn't really punish you forever. People always compare games to Dark Souls, saying, just like Dark Souls. But even Dark Souls lets you keep playing. Maybe one day people will say, just like Zomboid. Because in Zomboid, you don't just lose your souls or your stuff, you lose everything. Every character you play has their own personality, skills, and a life. When they die, they are gone forever. And if you're lucky, you might even run into their zombie on your next run. If you play in the same world, every decision feels real. Should I risk searching that gas station for supplies? Should I fire my gun? Is my base safe or should I move before it's too late? Every mistake stays with you. That being said, you can play builder mode or custom sandbox to adjust settings to your liking. Some people make things easier, some people do the opposite. They make the game even harder. I do it sometimes too. Playing with running zombies or almost no loot makes things brutal. Maybe it's a little crazy to put yourself through that, but for some reason, it feels right. And I haven't even talked about the massive number of items in the game. There are so many things to find or craft. Skill books to help you level up, tons of buildings you can make. The last update added blacksmithing, carving, glassmaking, and much more. There are 35 skills in total. If you survive long enough, you can craft anything you need for long-term survival. But not many of us make it that far. And even the best players don't every time. Then there's a multiplayer, which is a whole new experience. Some servers have PvP, but in most cases you don't have to participate. It's usually just a bunch of people or friends trying to survive together. The community is surprisingly friendly, probably because the game itself is so harsh. As if the game wasn't deep enough already. And then there are the mods. If you're still not sold, Project Zomboid already offers insane amount of depth, but the Steam Workshop takes it even further. New maps, entirely different locations, new cars, extra clothing, quality of life improvements, UI changes. There is something for everyone. The modding community is huge, constantly adding more to the game. Personally, I like the car mods the most. They add more variety without changing the core experience too much. Some of the UI mods can be useful, but others just feel like a clutter. Sometimes more distracting than helpful. But that's the beauty of it. If there's something about the game you wish was different, the chance is there is a mod for it. And if not, you can always make your own. After Zomboid, other survival games feel different. In Zomboid, survival isn't just about collecting loot or leveling up. It's about thinking ahead, avoiding danger, and knowing that no matter what, you will die someday. The most games don't feel that way. They let you reload or start over. They let you make a mistake and recover. They give you a second chance. Project Zomboid doesn't. It never lets you feel safe. And that's why I love it. That's why Project Zomboid ruined other survival games for me. No other game has made me feel survival like this. And honestly, I don't think any other game ever will. This is how you died.